everyone, V Roberts here. Sunny Friday afternoon, just about to pop out. Wanted to hop on here at 5:15. I'm going to be on my Instagram page doing a live stream, live Q&A for those of you that want to ask me any questions. But I just wanted to talk to you a bit about some of the challenges I've had on my journey of entrepreneurship, which some of you may or may not be able to relate to. And they are around some of the things that I think some of you could be experiencing right now, or have even experienced yourself. And if you watch this live or on the replay, please do interact with me, because you know I like the interaction. Hey Janine, how you doing? So I wanted to quickly explore with you some of the challenges I've had. And I don't know how many of you know this, but before I actually got into entrepreneurship, or the world of entrepreneurship as a business owner, I actually had a really stable job that I'd been in for a long time, where I was managing a team and I was actually really confident in my role. A lot of people relied on me to bring in the results, to bring in the business. And it was really, really important for me to focus on results, because I was being paid by my boss to make sure that I got the results in. My campaigns had to get footfall into the town centre, and I'm not just talking about 1,000 people, I'm talking about like 10,000 people for a Christmas light switch on. I'm talking about 12,000 plus for, footfall into a town centre for a 6-week shopping period. And this was all monitored by huge stats that were, being managed and kind of overlooked by town centre managers, either in the Croydon Council specifically or other councils, organisations like DEFRA and so on. Now let me just check. Am I showing up on my Insight to Marketing page? That's probably the question I should be asking. Hi Sally, how you doing? Hi Patricia. Hi Jenny, how you doing? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes if I'm showing up on my Insight to Marketing page. So one of the biggest things I had to do was make sure that I was delivering results, right? And when I started up on my own as self-employed, I started off as a sole trader. And obviously, for those of you that have been aware, I've kind of been growing my business as I go along. And I started off on totally the wrong foot. Like, I had the wrong pricing structure, didn't have the right business model necessarily, did a lot of stuff for free, which I wouldn't recommend now in hindsight. And, I didn't have much of a clue in terms of the business kind of struggled with that. And I think for any of you that are watching, I would say to you, if you haven't yet got to grips with the business model that you could be using, or what you could be doing in terms of how to grow your business, that's probably an area you might want to look at in terms of your long-term strategic planning, or your strategic planning generally in your business. Have a look at that, because if you don't look at that from the beginning, again, it's one of the things that might mess up your focus a little bit. So I didn't have the right kind of focus when I first started. That was one of the biggest challenges I had as an employee. Very results orientated, always bringing in the results. That was what I was paid to do. I had my team, I led international campaigns, I led smaller campaigns, internal campaigns. I worked with like House of Fraser, Marks and Spencer's, big retailers. I worked with their employees. I did lots of stuff. But when I started working on my own, it was a totally different ball game. Can you just let me know if I'm on my Insight to Marketing page? I'm sorry, I did start and then I had to stop because there were issues with reception and my IT. Just let me know if I'm on my Insight to Marketing page if you can. So one of the first issues I had was around the fact that being on my own, yes, I was still results orientated, but I didn't have anyone holding me accountable. I didn't have anyone checking up on what results I was bringing in. I certainly didn't have anyone making sure that I was even bringing in any results. So it was little old me working on my own. And much of what you might have seen from 2013 right up until 2015, 16 was little old me working on my own, unless it was a big event or one of my events, thank you Jenny, where I was actually booked, I'd booked extra staff to help me, thank you Janine. So one of my biggest issues was working on my own and holding myself accountable. And if any of you can relate to this, please just let me know. Put the word accountable in the box or just say, yes, I can relate. So my biggest issue in the beginning was business model and accountability. The second thing, which I haven't had as a secret at any point, is that I was really shy about coming out as the face of my brand, about being V Roberts, the face of my brand. And so I was a logo for a very long time. And I know that there are business owners out here who have the same kind of challenge. Maybe you feel like your face doesn't fit. Maybe you feel like people will talk about you, or people will say things about you, or people will, dissuade you from pushing and pursuing your dreams. But that was a challenge for me as well when I first started. I didn't know how to show up. I didn't know how to be the face of my brand. I was so used to working as an employee for my employers for 16 plus years that I was always behind the scenes, if that makes sense. I was always the face behind that corporate logo. You know, that BT Globe, you know, the councils that you might interact with. I was the face behind doing much of their communications, their copywriting, their website. And no one needed to know it was me. Unless you had an internal inquiry, nobody knew it was me in much of the examples that I've just quoted there. So when I went out on my own, it was a challenge for me because I had to become V Roberts, the face of Insight to Marketing. And, you know, I think one of the biggest game changers for me was when I came out as my brand, when I came from behind the logo, and when I actually said, you know, this is who I am, take me as I am, I'm an authentic brand, and, you know, you accept me as I am right now. And when I did that, when I accepted that I had to do that, that was when my business changed. So the business model had to change. The fact that I didn't have anyone holding me accountable had to change. And Jenny's saying, yes, that can be a little bit scary. Hi, Nicola, how you doing? And also what had to change was that the face of the brand. You know, if you're playing small and you're behind your logo, that's absolutely fine. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, the challenge I had was coming out from behind my logo. But once I did it, I saw a much quicker growth spurt in my business, and I think some of you could probably relate to that as well. So if any of you are holding back on being the face of your brand, on speaking out, on being authentic, on saying things as you mean to, sharing your opinion, you know, showing up consistently, one of the things I want to say to you is you're not the only one. That is a challenge that a lot of us experience. So my business model, being the face of my brand, having someone hold me accountable, that all held me back in the beginning. And, you know, over time, I quickly learned the lesson that it was something that I needed to kind of resolve ASAP if I wanted to see any results. Another thing that I really struggled with was budget. Not budget management, because I've been doing that for 16 plus years as a senior marketing consultant, senior marketing manager, team leader for international campaigns. I've been managing budgets of all kinds. I've been managing budgets of zero that I had to kind of facilitate and bring in through sponsorship and, you know, partnerships and collaborations and contra deals with the media and so on. And I also had huge budgets of over £250,000 that I had to manage. So I was quite good at managing budgets. But obviously, for those of you that don't know my story, starting my budget on £100 was a struggle for me. And again, I know that some of you may have this issue right now. Some of you may have been through this right now. Some of you may even be approaching that right now as a challenge. Budget management, particularly when you don't have a huge budget and you're not working as a big corporation or, you know, an SME, you're just one person, can be a challenge. Let me know if you can relate to any of this. Because I had £100 and I was literally up against how I'm going to get more customers, how I'm going to actually get people to believe in my brand. Because remember, I was a startup, just starting out, just left, being made redundant, pondering on what I'm going to do, where I'm going to work. And when I was down to my last £100, that's when I decided to kind of take action, which was way too late in all of the, you know, scheme of things. But looking back, you know, if I could give any piece of advice to anyone, it would be try and start up, invest money when you've got it, rather than wait until when you're at desperation stage. Okay, you definitely don't want to be doing that. So budget was an issue for me because I had £100, but I needed to look at ways to use that £100. I needed to prioritize what I could do. And obviously I didn't have a website. I didn't have, you know, any kind of visibility online. I wasn't showing up. And I had some major players that I was competing with. And to be fair, you know, right now I am in the same kind of area as a lot of those major players now, and I've had to do that through being consistent, through pushing, through going through, you know, hoops, through overcoming people that have told me, no, you're not allowed in, you know, our community. They've put the barriers up. People that have actually shunted me out of networking communities and groups because maybe they see me as a threat to them. I've had to overcome all of that, okay? And there's a saying that I really hope will encourage someone today, and that is, if one door is closed, build your own door. If people are saying that you can't get in, that you don't fit, that your face doesn't match, that your criteria doesn't match, that you're not qualified, that you don't earn enough, that you're not suited and booted, build your own door. Yeah, build your own door. Because I think one of the things that held me back when I first started was that I'd come from this corporate life, I'd come from this suited and booted life, but actually working in my own business, I didn't want to be suited and booted. I didn't want to show up as V Roberts, always in a suit and tie or in a suit and skirt. I wanted to just be me. So another one of my challenges, aside from the budget, aside from the business model, aside from the accountability, being the face of my brand, was actually that I wasn't as authentic as I could have been in the beginning. I quickly learned, though, that I couldn't be consistent as not being me. who I really was. So forget about the telephone voice, forget about the fact that, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, forget about the fact that I was always customer facing. Being V Roberts as my brand behind Insights and Marketing was a completely different ball game. Do any of you face that challenge now? I'd love to know. And I guess what I'm trying to say to you today is that for any of you that are going through it, whether it's budget management, whether it's fear of actually stepping out into your own kind of world as your own brand, whether it's the issue of being held accountable, obviously you haven't got a manager above you saying, you must do this, I want to see this on my desk by Monday, or I need to see this result, or you're getting fired. If no one's holding you accountable, if you've got a very small budget, if you're scared to come out behind your logo, maybe you don't like live streaming, maybe you don't like writing, maybe you don't feel confident doing certain things, I want to encourage you today that you need to address that. Okay? Get the support you need and address that, because you are definitely not the only person that faces challenges in your business, and I want you to stop feeling alone. There is a whole community of us out here that have up and down days. Someone just give me a yes in the box or an emoji if you can relate to that. I'm very sure that anyone that watches this live or on the replay has experienced their fair set of up and downs in business. It's never a straight path of growth. It certainly isn't a straight path of, ease and comfort. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of your comfort zone. So, as I said, the common challenges that we face might be around money, being afraid to step out and shine, being afraid to own up who we really are authentically without being afraid of what people might say about us, coming out from behind the mask, so to speak. And if this is you where you are now and you are really wanting to push forward and see results and actually open up to people and engage with the community and start getting clients that really are in tune with what you're really about as your authentic self, please take this message today, this Friday, as encouragement to come out as who you are. When I came out as my brand, when I allocated the little resources that I had into the priority areas of my business, which at the time was a website, social media and a little bit of print, when I focused my resources onto what I could manage in terms of time, in terms of budget, and started working with sales targets and really honed in on who I wanted to serve, what my benefits were, what I could bring to the world in terms of my key skills and my strengths, that's what's basically built my business and still building my business to this day. I'm currently working with NatWest Bank as a business mentor. I'm also working with Virgin Business Startups as a business mentor. And I sit on boards and I contribute ideas and I write blog posts and I have a podcast. But I get the most joy from seeing business owners very much like myself who do feel challenged. And if this is you, then, maybe we need to have a conversation. Perhaps you feel challenged. You're not comfortable with coming out as who you are. You have the budget, but you're not sure how to spend it. Or maybe the opposite of that. Maybe you don't have the budget, but you would like to know what you can do on a small budget to get results. The time to speak up is now before we get to the end of the year. Because you're not the only one facing challenges. We have challenges every day. Different types of challenges, family challenges, health challenges, financial challenges. None of us are immune from challenges. That guru that you see, showing up with the posh car, the nice flashy photo shoots, they are not immune from challenges. Okay? I'm not a coach that's going to pretty up anything and pretend like my life's a bed of roses, because it isn't. And, I'm happy with the clients I have. I'm happy with the waiting list I have, people waiting to work with me. But there's not ever a plain sailing month for me. There isn't. And I'd be lying if I sat here and said there was. In fact, I'll tell you a secret. My laptop right now, the microphone's gone on it, so I've got to find time to repair that. My mobile that I'm streaming to you on now, there's something wrong with the sound on that as well. So hopefully I am sounding okay. Got to sort that out. Yeah? And there are still things on my to-do list that I want to do, that I need to come out of my comfort zone and do. And I've had to invest in a business coach to get that stuff done, to hold me accountable. I've had to invest. I invested in a retreat earlier on this year where I took some time away for 2 days and really honed in on what it was I wanted to do. And I keep on investing in myself, because if I'm not investing in myself, how can others want to invest or even trust to invest in me? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, in line with the title of this stream, if you're still watching, thank you for watching live with me. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. Let me just see if anyone has asked anything. I can't see anything on the screen, no. But I guess what I'm saying is, you're not alone with the challenges. Many of us face challenges, but if you are stuck, get support. Invest in that book. Buy that course. Download that free webinar. But whatever you do, take action, because it's the action that's going to help you. You've got to get momentum in your business and be consistent in your business if you want to see results. Staying stuck, not saying anything, being afraid, procrastinating, holding back on your ideas, being worried about what others are going to think, say, feel and do. Honestly, you have to ignore the naysayers and just press on. You have to be ready with whatever resources you've got now to step out and shine. You've got to be ready to take action, because otherwise what you'll find is, as I did for 18 months in my business, you will stay exactly where you are now until you decide enough's enough. So when are you going to decide that enough's enough? You've got to face the challenges you've got. I had to get a business coach. I had to start saving money and reinvesting it, just as I was when I was working for my employers. I had to face my fears and start doing live streaming and start going out to events, irrespective of what others were going to say, do and think. I had to play against the big players in the industry and find my place in the market by being authentic, standing up for what I believe in, writing articles, going out and asking for the business. And you can do this too. But you've got to believe in your brand, and you've got to believe that you are someone that can overcome the challenges despite what they might be. So on this Friday, I'm going to leave you with that thought. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and definitely don't be afraid to step out and shine into the place and the community where you belong, because people are waiting. People want to know what you have to offer, but if they don't know that you exist, and if you don't show up consistently, they're just going to go to the next person. All right? So if you feel this resonates with you in any way, or if you want to share this with anyone, forward it to anyone, please do that. Please share it on if you feel someone else might benefit from hearing it. But it's important that we remember we all go through challenges. Okay? No problem, Janine. We all go through challenges. And, if you're facing a challenge today, just be encouraged that you can come out of that challenge. There will be light at the end of that tunnel. And if you need help, there's always someone that will help you. Okay? So bear that in mind. Have a great Friday. If you're about at 5:15, I'll see you on Instagram. Take care. Bye.